All right, here we go. Let's rock and roll. This is Dan Demand, Life in Order founder. But all right, so there will be a link in this sheet eventually so you can watch this video as well. All right, so this is my simplified version for the clients that have high utilization and for them to calculate it very quickly. All right. So yeah, like I said, when I say simplified, I mean simplified, okay? Because as you can see here, most people when I show this are like, whoa, right? This is a lot of bank information. This is all the phases, right? These are all the sheets you're not even seeing. I'm not gonna zoom in too crazy into that. Again, a lot of proprietary information. So I fund you first, and then maybe if you're smart enough, you hire me for the life and the business coach because the life and the business becomes one in together. If your personal life's kind of crappy, it may go into your business life and vice versa. So yeah, life is when I mean life in order, I'm talking about the whole holistic package. So, anyways, all right. So very simple. Put the name of the credit card there, right? The due date, the start date, the close date, and this is not really necessary too much. I just leave it on there just to give you a taste, right? Again, there's many different fields here because all of these different things you have to track, right? If you plan on getting more funding down the road as well. That's why I created these things. So I tell people all the time, if you want to waste more than $500,000 in 20 years of business experience versus, hiring me because you're penny smart but you're dollar foolish, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying my best. All I can do is lead a horse to water. I can't make it drink. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and that's why, well, I don't know if you can see here, but yeah, like I said, there's a crap ton of sheets. All right. We're not going to get into it. This is just supposed to be a video about showing you how to calculate the balance. Okay. So, but to get your closing date, right, I'm going to give you this at least. Okay. This is analyzation of all the different credit cards I have myself and clients as well, right? To see basically who's constant and who's not constant. Okay, so when it's not constant, so I just left these as an example, right? And there's notes here as well. Okay, so basically you want to find the earliest date when it comes to the close date, and the start date you want to find the latest date. Okay, if you don't want to keep tracking on it. What else? So yeah, so a bunch of notes on a bunch of different credit cards. Okay, you can scroll all the way down. Again, you can leave these as an example for the notes, or you can go down here and there's a template. And so you would say, let's say you got Citibank, because Citi I haven't really dealt with them too much, for the most part, for different reasons, which you'll probably find out when you guys watch more of my videos. But yeah, you put Citi, and then you would put different start dates, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Okay, and then oops, let's go back. Okay, so if you want to copy and make some more, like I said, I suggest well, you can just duplicate the sheet, go like this, right? Hit duplicate, and then now you can just edit these, right? So now replace this with your PNC card, if it's PNC or whatever, or Chase or whatever, right? And then you take as many statements as you have available. As you can see, so that's why some of these are missing, because we didn't have those statements at those times, but yeah, for the most part, the ones that are constant, which is there's not that many. Truist is constant, Chase is constant, Bank of America is constant, Capital One is not constant. This is what I learned recently, that if it's 31 days, once you find the range that the closing date closes, the latest date is if the month has 31 days. I found this by mistake, which is funny, but it's a long story. And I don't want to ramble because I tend to do, because as you can see, I have so much information. People have called me a walking encyclopedia and all this other stuff, and yada yada yada. So yeah, Discover is constant. Yeah, obviously covered. Chase is constant. The reason I put personal, just in case there was any difference from the business side, and also from financial product to financial product, right? Sometimes there's that. So I'll delete this. Okay, so yeah, you would once you get access to this, right? You would hit File, you would hit Make a Copy, and then you would make a copy, of course, and then then you would edit it on your own. All right, so very simple. Again, put your due date, start date, because eventually you're going to transfer this once you pay me for the more elaborate version. Okay, and eventually I am making software for all of this, so it'll be even more beautiful than this. But I know people hate spreadsheets and yada yada yada, but listen, a lot of apps are database based anyway, so they just made it more beautiful when you look at all the no code things that are going around. But all right, so yeah, start date, put the close date, the range of it. What I do sometimes is I always use the most conservative date, right? And leave it at that, right? And again, I'll give you some free sauce again. So when you look at the due date between the start date, if you pay the whole balance, because a lot of people do not understand, and I'm not going to break it down in this video, I'll be another video, or I think I might already have, but so the due date is usually a couple days, and 3 to 4 to 7 days before the start date of the new cycle. If you pay the whole balance off, right, which happened to one of my clients, she's like, oh, I paid it off. I'm like, but I don't want to say her name, but I'm like, no, you paid it off. That was last statements, but you bought tickets for your vacation on that card, and basically it didn't start a whole new cycle. So it reported, and it increased her utilization to 22%. We had it at 14, but she screwed it up on that one card at least, okay? Because even though I have right here the what's it called? Let me get rid of this so you guys can see it probably even better, because I know if you're on a phone it's going to be different. Let me switch the scenes here. Okay, so even though I have here the overall utilization, right? You need every card to be well, as I put some notes here, you may want to read those, right? You can get funded, up to 29%, sometimes even over it, because every bank is different, right? That's why we're just trying to look at the general landscape, be like, okay, it's better to be at this, and as the banks are tightening and detightening, and every bank could use the economy differently, right? That's why the smart funders would say, hey, be 14%, right, or 15 or under, right? So ideally I say 7, okay? But you can play with this too. This is a formula, right? So if you're like, oh, I can't really handle 7, but maybe I'll do, maybe I can handle 14, right? And that'll calculate everything here, right? So as you can see here, this credit card is $1,000 limit, right? You put the limit of the credit card. You put the balance that you have in real time, not the one that's on your report, because obviously, the one on your report is just a screenshot, basically a snapshot of at that time when the credit card reported. If you rack up more expenses on it, of course you're gonna have a higher balance. So you put in the balance, and that tells you the available credit, and of course the usage. Okay, so over here, basically this is telling you that for this credit card, you can only have a balance of 140. Okay, so you have $360 to pay off to hit this 14% to have a balance of 140. Okay. If it's positive, as you can see here, because these have no balances, so we're just pretending these were your credit cards, right? So if you have a positive, then that means you're within the range. Like for example, let's just put $100 on this one, right? Okay, that puts you at 5% utilization, right? And basically you're still positive. You have $180 left before you hit this threshold and you start crossing over the utilization that you're targeting for, right? So what I did here, right, let me shrink this down a little bit more, that way it's a little nicer. So when you see negative, as I put in a note right here as well, okay, you want to hit factor. And what does it do down here? Let me actually blow it up so that you guys can actually, yeah, and let me color it yellow, that way it stands out. Okay, so that's what you're gonna need to pay off, right, to get that card down to 14%, right? So let's do another mock-up. Let's say this one was, let's say they all have $500 balances, right? 500, because we know, and this one we know that we have to go past 500, so we'll do 700. Okay, as you can see, they're all negative. Okay, so that means you'll be like, okay, I got negative, 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 boom. Okay, that means you have $800 to pay off, right, total, right? And so now I need to get this money however you do it. Whether you get a loan, which a lot of people do, if they can qualify, you can. I know a company that I think does up to $40,000 maximum, but they charge you $10,000, right? The other company, the other version is you ask, I don't know, a friend, a family, somebody who has the either cash or again. What I would do is like, well, no, that they would have to know credit liquidation methods to do that. But yeah, so if they have the cash to let you borrow it for a bit, well, actually, no, you can have them come to me. I'll help them liquidate the credit card for the amount that you need, right? And then, which is I'm charging anywhere from 5 to 6% right now. The competition charges 6, so I can charge you that, but it all depends. It depends how I feel you're coming off, because you know, yeah, some people are more trustworthy than others, and so that's the other thing, is that I will eventually be offering my own bridge loans. Okay, they call it a bridge loan basically, so that you can pay it down, and then now you can qualify, and you can pay me back on the back end. I don't know how much I'm going to charge for that, because it is very risky. Even though I can put a lien on your business and to take you to court, it's not worth my time, the stress, none of that. That's why very few companies offer that, right? And that's why that other company is charging a ton of money, right? Because if you're within that range, they're still going to charge you $10,000, because yeah, it's a risk factor, okay? And they're doing you a big service in trusting you in doing that. For me, having trust issues, because dealing with so many people. It's funny, this guy that I'm helping right now, potentially helping, did a post on LinkedIn talking about, all the people that backstab them and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just what happens in the business world sometimes. But all right, I digress. Okay, so some of you have lines of credit that will also be considered as if it was well, it is a revolving line of credit, but it's a credit card, but it's not a credit card. Okay, authorized users as well. If you already have quite a bit of cards already with history, you don't really need authorized users. Get rid of them as soon as possible, because it's going to take a while, because they will remove them as the cycle ends and they report. Sometimes they could take longer. So authorized users, and that's kind of changing. The supposed laws are going to be changing here soon. This might not even matter anymore, right? You're just going to have to hardcore build your own history. Okay, so yeah, if you already have credit history and stuff like that, right? Yeah, this can help you with utilization, right? So the only exception would be if you're gonna qualify for a loan, you would get authorized users to increase your available credit, so that your overall, because in that context, they're gonna take the overall utilization, okay? But when it comes to business funding, okay, they're gonna look at every card. Every card has to be, again, ideally from. See, and you also don't want a 0. You want, again, like I said, I prefer 7. So I'm just going to keep it at 7, okay? So obviously these are all positive. Oh no, these are all negative still. Okay. So, what was I saying here? So yeah, I prefer 7. Like, I know some people may not have the money. They're like, okay, I said 14. Then if it's, okay, let's see the difference. So 7%. So yeah, 7% you would need $1,500 versus 14%, you're looking at $800, okay? But again, you will leave money on the table, okay? And I forgot to say, the reason why some companies tell you it has to be 15 or lower is because they want to increase their chances. Because again, nobody can predict, unless you have an inside, and nobody has that. That's another thing I want to say real quick. These people will say, oh, we have business relationships and da-da-da-da. It does not matter, because if your profile is not just your score, people, it's your FICO. That's a whole loaded word. It's your credit profile, okay? How many installment lines do you have? How many revolving lines do you have? How old are they? Do you have any derogatories? All these different moving parts. And that's why the industry standard is anywhere from 10 to 20%. When I first ran into the company, they charged me 15%, and this other guy charged me, what was it, 13% to liquidate my credit cards. So yeah, so you don't have to suffer the way I have to do. Okay, I paid for all that, and that's why you're paying such a higher price, unless again you want to pay even more than what I'm charging you. So if you get sticker shock, then I know you haven't been experienced in business, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but I'm just telling you, please do not be penny smart and dollar foolish. It's not worth it. Value your time. Okay, as you get richer, you're gonna realize your time is the most valuable thing of them all. Like, nothing pisses off rich people more than wasting their time. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it. Okay, put in the limit of the credit card, put in your current balance. It's going to tell you the available credit. It's going to tell you the usage. It's going to, again, adjust the utilization however you want. Okay, and then factor it if need be. Okay, so now let's say, well, I have more than 4 credit cards. You can use one of these two as well. They're basically the same thing. But if you wanted to, what you can do is you select this, right? You select the number 12 or whatever, any of them that's 0, right? Or even one that's already used, right? You can copy it, and then you can, go like this, and I usually go like this, 2 rows, and then I say insert a row above, and then I paste it right here, okay? And now you have an extra one, okay? And the formula won't change. It will calculate everything. As you can see, it's calculating everything within the range. So even if you were to go right down here, let's say, well, damn, I have like 6 authorized users, then just go like this, create more rows. If you need more rows, create more rows, right? And then just add. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Add to it, okay? So yeah, I'm going to erase all these, obviously, and just put them all back to 0. Let's just do that now, right? Well, no, I won't bore you guys with that. Because, see, when you put 0, it does all this. That's why I put some numbers on here, so, okay? But it's very simple. It's very simple, as you guys can see. I know some people are not spreadsheet users, but I'm sorry, you're gonna have to learn that skill. Okay, it just, I built elaborate systems with using the Apple's iNumbers, and then they changed the UI, and it was just complete garbage. So I'm like, okay, and then sharing capability was not as nice as Google. So I'm like, okay, I gotta relearn different formulas, because the formulas on the numbers does not work on Google Sheets. All right, so let's see what else. All right, well, that's about it. Hope you guys, yeah, LIO going to be disrupting a lot of stuff, so don't be surprised if you guys eventually like, oh damn, I knew Dan before he was a decabillionaire and yada yada yada. So, but it's to improve upon the world. That's, again, I'm a minimalist, so I my highest lifestyle calculated to be about 2 million a year, and that's including paying my family and everybody that supported me along these turbulent journey of serial entrepreneurship. But I digress. All right. Peace.